Why am I recording? Why am I recording? I didn't even know I hit a button. Alright, welcome back, guys. Today's going to be short and sweet, I hope. I have two things I need to do. I need to get this engine taken care of, get that rust issue figured out and see how bad it is. And then I need to finish cleaning the shop so I can get the 4Runner parked in here for the winter, because it rains a lot here. And we don't drive that. That's going to be a future project car. It's in pretty good shape for how many miles is on it. And I don't want it to get worse. So let's get to it. I think that's a lot better. I think I can park the 4Runner in here and still be able to get around it and work around it. So let's tear this thing down. So I want to tear this down so we can get in and roll this over without a lot of extra weight, get all this stuff off the front, and get this side down low, so then we can lay in some rags that are soaked with some rust remover. And we'll let it sit for a couple days and see how it cleans up. That's kind of gross. You know what that looks like? That kind of looks like some of that radiator sealant crap. Always a good sign. Great. Wow, these are really loose. Maybe it's a good idea we're going to tear this thing down to just the block. So I was going to take a moment and talk about how I wanted to get a 90s water pump from a 460 for the better belt setup and a little more modern design, but I realized that I didn't want to run a mechanical water pump on this. I'm going to run an electric, and it's not going to be the one that's mounted here. It's going to be like that that Davies Craig electric pump. You can get a controller for it. You can just run it wide open. You can make your own little controller for it. I'm going to see how that works. Cat, you don't want to get in that. Cat sniffing around the oil pan I set outside. You don't want that, kitty. Oh, great. I think I bought the cheap ones. Well, I thought this separated right here, but I realized no, that's a single casting. It goes all the way around the crank, so I guess we're pulling the pulleys off right now too. Oh wait, let me get my impact rated socket. There we go. Easy. Now I just have to find my pulley puller that I haven't seen in 5 years. So I don't know where my pulley puller is, so we're going to do it the redneck way. I'm not reusing these pulleys, so. Just like that. No harm done. Hey, there we go. How much play is supposed to be in these? Why does that look like it's kind of a lot? Cool thing about making video about this is I don't have to take pictures to look at later if I got a question. Hey, look at the video. I think we'll leave the cam in for now. I don't have a reason to take it out, and it's going to help keep an oil film between the cam and the journals. Okay. Take off a few more trinkets and we'll roll her over. Of course, everything else in the block is full oil but the filter. All right, I think we're ready to roll it over. We'll see how bad it is. And basically, once we get the rust out, we can pull the pistons out. We can get in there with a nice bright light, inspect the bore, and probably just send it off to get honed. I'm not real optimistic that this is going to be a shop fix here. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to use some rust remover. We're going to soak a rag, and we're going to lay it right in there on top of that rust spot here. That one's going to be a little, yeah, I think the rag will sit there. So I got some clean rags. Well, they were clean. And we're going to let it sit for a day or so. We'll come back out, check it, clean it out. If we need to do it again, we'll get a clean side of the rag, soak it again, and put it back. Stupid. So these rags are just not absorbent, and I frickin' hate it. So here's what we'll do. We'll soak a paper towel. We'll lay it in there on the rust, and we'll put a wetted rag on top of that to keep it from drying out, keep a little extra weight on it, and we will let it sit. Let's just repeat that 2 more times. All right, so the power is out tonight. So we're just going to take a quick look, see what the status is here with the rust remover. This is what I pulled out. You can actually see it pulled rust off of the cylinder walls. And we're just going to re-wet this and wipe it in there good and see if that cleans up a little. Yeah, this is going to be a pain. I think it actually dried out a little bit, and that's not real good. Let's take a quick look. Yeah. Okay, we're not using paper towels anymore. Well, we're learning all kinds of stuff, aren't we? All right, so we got our power back. We had about 100 feet of power line laying on the road right at the end of our driveway last night. And they got it restored at about 1:30, which was a great time to wake up, let me tell you. Things in the house beeping, lights turning on we didn't know were turned on. I'm kind of optimistic here. Maybe I should have brought the bright light over. A little bit of rust left. And I can't tell, but it kind of looks like we have some texture on the metal, but maybe that's just that rest of that white gunk from the paper towels. I don't recommend doing that. That was kind of a mess. So these two still have a little bit of red rust in them. So I'm going to put that one back. And I'm going to leave this one here. I've got to flip it over to a clean side again. And by now these red rags are fairly well soaked in that rust remover, so I think it'll be fine. So we'll let it set, and I'll check it this evening after work. All right, it's been a little over 48 hours since we started this adventure. Let's take a look. That one's not looking bad. That one's looking better than this morning. Yeah, it's starting to, even this cloth is starting to stick a little bit. So, here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to wipe this out really good. We're going to clean it. We're going to wash off the rust remover with some water. And then we're going to hose it down with WD-40. And this weekend, when I have more time, we'll roll it over. We'll spin the crank and run the pistons up and down. We'll clean this surface really smooth, get all the gunk off. Wait, we'll do it in the opposite order. We'll clean it first. We get all this bumpy residue from the rags and whatnot off. We will rotate, and we'll see. I'm kind of curious if there's rust under here anywhere. Seeing as how much oil is coming through, I'm hoping there's not rust there. But we'll have to see. Alrighty then. Well, it looks like the WD-40, which is supposed to be a water displacer, did not displace all the water well enough to leave it sit for the rest of the week. But what we're going to do is we're going to use some white Scotch-Brite, which is, the guy I got it from who owned a woodworking business said they use it to polish the wood after they did their sanding and whatnot. So this is a really light scuffing action here. So I'm not worried about doing more damage because we already have texture that we need to take off of here. So we're just gonna clean it up lightly. All right, so when I roll this over, it is very smooth. There's no noise, which I take as a good sign. And you can see how nice that bore is next to it. This they all look like this, and now these three look like this, and that's sad. Still makes me sad. But I think we can save it. This is not pitted so badly that a hone won't take it out. I got some good advice on saving this, and somewhere in the near future I'll get a set of hones. We'll clean this up. Obviously we'll have to take the rotating assembly out. I didn't want to do that, but I kind of have to. I mean, some people are saying, oh, you could just put the cylinder all the way at the bottom of the bore, tape it off, go real careful and just hone the top part of the bore, but that's a little too sketchy for me. All right, so like I said, or if I didn't say it yet, we'll be taking this engine apart, unfortunately. But that's the way it goes. It's what happens when you live in a humid environment. It rains a lot. It's cold during the winter. I'm sure this happened last winter. You know, when I shoved it in the corner. It's probably cold over in that corner. In the future, I'll have to be more careful. We'll make sure we have a good film of oil on things like that, or we'll, I don't know, we'll do something to keep the air moving, to keep things dried out. But yeah, a little bit of a harsh lesson, I guess. But it is what it is. Life goes on. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.